Hi, I'm Alex Paulton. I'd like to welcome you here to the Things Conference. I'm with Open Systems Media and Embedded Computing Design, and today I've got Agustin Pelaez. He's with Ubidots, and that's an interesting name of a company. Where did you get that name from?
That's a good question. We get it a lot, and it stands for ubiquitous dots. So, a few years back, people were talking about ubiquitous computing, how computers would be pervasive and be everywhere, and now that's where we are heading in the future. So we thought it would be great to, do the name mix between dots, which is we dreamed of a world connected, full of dots, all over the place. So Ubidots, yeah.
So to you, in this case, for example, the dots would be LoRaWAN nodes.
Exactly. Yeah, we have. I'll tell you more about this, but we within our customers base, we have over 50% of our customers are actually implementing LP1 technologies today. So yes, most of the dots are LP1 powered.
Very nice. Now, when you think about application spaces and the like, well, first off, before I go there, I understand you're a complete software play. You're not a hardware play at all. You're supporting the hardware with your software systems.
Exactly. So Ubidots has its roots as in Medellin, Colombia. We began as system integrators ourselves. We hacked a few projects together, mostly in the healthcare sector, doing cold chain monitoring. And as a hardware engineers, I'm a hardware engineer myself. We figured that after you have all of these solutions implemented, you still had to think about the cloud portion. You still had to implement the software, a good-looking UI that also worked. So that's where we began looking for options, and we couldn't find anything in the market back then. We're talking 6 to 8 years ago, and that's why we created Ubidots as an easy and affordable means for IoT entrepreneurs out there to create entire IoT businesses from scratch without having to hire a software development team.
That's very cool, Agustin. Now, when you think about that aspect, are there any application spaces that you find yourself doing more work in, or some application spaces that you find yourself doing less work in? What are the application spaces that you found that are your hotspots?
Yeah, it's a good question. We recently surveyed our own user base to find out what they were using us for. As a toolkit, you don't always have the chance to talk to customers face to face, find out what they're using you for. So it was a very interesting finding. So in one part, we saw a lot of smart agriculture projects, a lot of smart manufacturing. Recently, a lot of smart cities, specifically in Australia for some reason. And we have healthcare, which is kind of our roots. We still see some movement in the area.
Are there any spaces that you see promise in that you're not dealing with right now?
Well, I would say manufacturing is very nascent still, so we do have a few use cases, but interestingly, both indoors and outdoors, like everything around industrial IoT, where LoRaWAN has a lot of application because of the power, the penetration, long battery life. So manufacturing is a really big deal right now. We see a lot of system integrators that used to serve the industry as purely control system integrators. They were used to do one-off projects, create a whole engineering projects, and now they're using IoT as a means to convert or transform their business models into subscription businesses. So it's not only nice that they use IoT as a means to create more efficiency in the factories and the shop floor, it's also a means to transform their own businesses from one-off instances to subscription and join the subscription economy, as they call it.
And that's also very interesting. Now, when you think about that, let's say I'm a customer and I walk in the front door. What's the flow, the process between my idea and your solution?
Of course. So typically, our customers are IoT entrepreneurs, OEMs, system integrators. They have a problem to solve. So let's say you're in Israel doing smart agriculture and you want to help farmers save water. So you come up with this great idea, soil moisture sensor over LoRaWAN, or you buy it off the shelf, and you want to create an entire business from this problem-solving thing, right? So you need to go out and hire. You usually would have to hire a software developer or create your own solution, an application, both web and mobile. But instead, you turn to Ubidots.com, you sign up for an account, and within a week time, you're able to go from device to prototyping, testing, and deploy a whole nice UI that your customers can use to make smarter decisions.
Very nice. Now, speaking of applications, what is the most odd application you've been involved with? We've got panda tracking over here, and rhinoceros tracking over there.
Yeah.
What's the oddest application you've encountered or had to work with?
Okay, so we as a company we also run a two-tiered approach similar to the Things Industries, where we keep a STEM or a community version. It's called Ubidots STEM, and then we have our industrial version. So very funny story. A few years back, there was a German maker that came up with a very nice design of a hydrometer. I didn't know what that was, but wait, hold with me. So it's a device to measure the density of a beer fermentation barrel. So this design became very popular in the open hardware community, and more hobbyist beer brewers started to 3D print these designs and connect them to Ubidots. So all of a sudden, without us planning for it, we saw our platform being used by thousands of beer brewers to know whether they brew the right pint or not.
That is a good application, and I love my beer. So, what are some tips you can give to our audience on software best practices that they could walk away from and use?
Yeah, we both know that developing and launching an IoT project is not an easy undertaking. So there's a lot of layers that you have to deal with, from device connectivity, cloud, and believe it or not, what customers tend to value the most, or what they see, is the interface. So you can have the best device, the best connectivity, but at the end of the day, am I able to check my phone whether an alarm is off or on? So my piece of advice would be to focus not device-centric or technology-centric, but think about the end customer and do design around their needs. As engineers, we tend to value the first most, but definitely, go with the end user-driven design.
Very cool. So, Agustin, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us at this really great show. And what's your URL? How can people find you?
You can find us at ubidots.com. Sign up for an account, and we'll look forward to see what you build with us.
Thanks so much for taking the time with us today. I really appreciate it.